everyone, Life Coach Carissa here. I had already planned to share this content with you today, but it feels even more heavy given the tragic news that I woke up to today. There has been another school shooting, this time in Georgia, where two 14-year-olds and two teachers were killed. The shooter was a 14-year-old from the same school. Learning about this hit me hard, especially as a parent of a 15-year-old daughter. These situations are so devastating and they're so hard to comprehend, but they also highlight how much emotional weight our kids are carrying. And that's going to bring me to today's topic, how our emotional energy can rub off on our children. You know, growing up, I don't think that my parents were too concerned with how their emotional state affected me. But times have changed and we know better now. As parents, we are more aware of the importance of how we show up emotionally. You know, we all want to create a better life for our children, but one area that I think many of us could work on is becoming more mindful of the emotional energy that we bring into everyday situations in our life, in our family, in our environment. You know, I often see parents lose their cool in public places, whether it's at a store, in traffic, in a movie theater where their kids won't listen. You know, I'm not here to judge anyone. Please don't take it that way. But how often do we ask ourselves, how am I feeling right now? Is my emotional baggage spilling over into my child's life in a way that's not helpful? I know I didn't used to ask that question. Because I didn't grow up learning that by example, right? So that was foreign to me. And, you know, speaking from my own experience, I know there were many times when I couldn't control my emotions, and my children bore the brunt of that. When we carry this heavy emotional energy, we often try to control our children in negative ways. And that's something we really need to pause and think more about. Now, I'm not implying that emotional energy was the root cause of this most recent tragedy. I don't know the details. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But what I do know is that children today are struggling to navigate a complex world, and they're looking to us as their guides. How do I know this? Well, look at the statistics, right? Our kids are suffering mentally, emotionally. It's showing in the numbers with suicide rates and depression rates and medications to treat various diagnoses of our children, right? Our tone sets the stage. If we can't manage our emotions and bring ourselves back to a calm place, our children are likely to internalize that chaos. When we buffer with outside things like alcohol, drugs, shopping, things that would be unhelpful to your healthy lifestyle, you know, when we use those distractions to cope, what are we teaching them? I have been there. I used to drink a bottle of wine every evening to stay the easygoing mom. But the truth was, I was just masking years of insecurities, anxiety, and worry, and that emotional energy was most definitely rubbing off on my kids. My own mental state was impacting theirs. So, what can we do to shift this? How can we catch ourselves before our emotions take over and we negatively influence our children? I wanted to give you 3 powerful tips that you can maybe use to help you catch when your emotional energy might be toxic for your children. Number 1 is to check in with yourself regularly. I would guarantee that the majority of us do not do this. I work with enough people and I have my own situations. I did not think this way previously. Okay. So, what does this look like? Checking in with yourself regularly. You would take a moment throughout the day to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Are you carrying stress from work or personal worries into interactions with your children? Recognizing your emotional state is the first step to shifting it. If you're overwhelmed, take a few deep breaths, Pause and reset before you engage with your kids. I can't tell you how many times I wish I would have known that. Someone would have told me. Number two, watch for patterns in your reactions. There always is patterns to what we do, right? I don't like to always use the word triggers, but we have triggers that just activate us, right? So there are patterns. Do you find yourself losing patience in certain situations? Maybe it's during morning routines or bedtime if your children are small. Maybe it's as your children are teenagers and they are doing that same thing that they always do, right? Reflect on why that is. Are you projecting your stress or unmet needs onto your child? Understanding these patterns can really help you address the root causes rather than just reacting impulsively. And number three, try to use a mindful transition between tasks. Before you walk through the door after a long day, take a minute to clear your mind. Visualize setting aside any frustrations so that you can enter your home with a fresh, calm energy. This helps prevent bringing that outside stress into your home environment where your kids will pick up on it. This was hard for me because my drive wasn't super long between work and home. And I felt like, I said this numerous times, like I never have a chance to reset. I'm still all keyed up by the time I get home, right? Recognize that and let's do something to change it. You don't have to live an autopilot life. You can try new things. You can challenge your routine habitual behaviors, right? So those are three things. I truly believe that when we become more intentional about our emotional energy, we will create a healthier environment for our children to thrive. It's not about being perfect. It's about becoming more self-aware and making those small, tiny shifts that can lead to a big change over time. So as parents, paying attention to our emotional energy is crucial, not just for ourselves, but for the well-being of our children and the harmony of our entire family. Too many of us are constantly on edge, operating in states of high vigilance and unknowingly passing that tension on to our kids. I challenge you to try communicating more proactively with your children for just 1 week. Pay attention to how they react and respond to your energy shifts. Sure, it may feel strange at first, but give it time. I have been there, I have done this. The impact can be so profound. Having come out on the other side of my own tumultuous parenting journey, I can tell you that the benefits are tremendous. My relationship with my children has blossomed, and they know I am always here to listen and support them, even when circumstances aren't ideal. And I don't have to show up perfectly, okay? I'm aiming for B- work here, not A+. But it is so much better than the unaware, unconscious, autopilot way that I was living before. I promise you it is. So tonight, hug your kids a little tighter, no matter what age they are. Adult, little, in between. We often take life and our loved ones for granted. Let's not wait for a tragedy to appreciate them more, to love them more, and hold ourselves to a higher standard when it comes to our emotional energy. Our kids are watching and learning from us every day. We can do better. Let's teach them well. All right, everyone, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please click that thumbs up button. It really helps me expand my reach. And you can also subscribe to stay updated on my latest videos. And if you think this video could help someone you love or care about, please don't hesitate to share it with them. And if you or someone you love needs help, I encourage you to visit my website at lifecoachingwithkarissa.com. You can find available times there for free sessions where I address questions and fears and apprehensions, and I go into more in depth about what it is I do to support you and help you live a more peaceful, joyful life. I also offer a 12-week transformation program where I guide women through the process of learning emotional management tools and techniques that will change your life forever. I would love to talk to anyone about this more if you think it could be the answer that you are seeking, even when you're in the chaotic phases of parenting. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.